Welcome everybody. We are back for another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm pretty sure you know this by now, but I am Odo Harmon Jr. You can find me at Odo Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the good stuff. And to my right is my wonderful co-host, Jared Fradette.
I am Jared Fradette, and you can find me at all the same social media sites at ToonVelo. So, we have a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about what our favorite tropes are, the newest announcement of Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, and discussing Marvel's newest TV show set to debut this June, Cloak and Dagger. I'm excited about the show, but it has already sparked controversy as people are claiming it's racist.
Yes. If you don't know, Cloak and Dagger follows two teenagers battling drug overdose addiction, drug crime, in whatever city they live in. Cloak is a black gentleman who is wrapped in, you guessed it, a cloak, and he has shadow powers that allows him to teleport and take things to the shadow realm, essentially.
Mind crush.
And Dagger is a white woman who has light powers where she creates little light daggers and stabs people and sucks away their life energy. So, because, black man, dark powers, white woman, light powers, is it racist? Yes, there can be racist connections drawn to that, and people think anything that's not made, by people of color telling their own stories is inherently racist, which I understand. But the other than, the racism based in those simple facts, the greater overarching thing, not so much. Like, it's not racist to the point where you shouldn't watch it. Like, yes, these things and tropes do unfortunately exist in comic books, movies, and general culture, but there are much darker things we should be fighting or worrying about than just the color symbolism. Again, not saying it's not racist, there is some racism there, but the pitchfork and torch crowd that they're going after, maybe should be geared towards more, things more obvious.
There are certainly more obvious examples of this, and particularly if we look back in comic book history in general, it's just rife with sexism, racism, elitism, and not even in comic books, all of media, really.
Yeah, sex. First, you need to remember that a lot of comic books got their origins in the 50s and 60s. And they were made by, let's be honest, a whole bunch of white men in a white room with their interests. So if you're a person of color, if you're a woman, well, that's pretty much, if you're anyone that's not the status quo.
Right.
Your interests probably were not anywhere in their forethought.
Oh, no. I mean, the gold example of this is the unfortunate example of Wonder Woman. She was not always the greatest, most powerful woman of the DC Trinity. We know her biggest weakness was being bound and touched by men. Wrists snapped together. She was just a helpless female then.
So, yes, you can look this up if you don't believe this. If a man, not like, Zeus or a powerful god or someone on her level, like if me or Jared was to go and touch her, she would be rendered helpless and useless because
because the comic book artist was really into BDSM, and this is his way of getting it published.
Yeah, so it doesn't exist anymore, but yeah, the world's most powerful woman could be defeated by literally any man.
Mm-hmm.
And if that wasn't bad enough, so everyone's favorite superhero, Superman, or the most iconic superhero of them all, there was an episode where, his girlfriend, Lois Lane, is a world-class reporter, and she wanted to talk about the struggles of being a black person in America. And inherently, you can think, yeah, maybe that's a good thing. Let's show light to a group of people that's been undermined.
Right, tossed aside, overlooked.
Yeah, and let's do it in a medium that, people like. But how they went about it was a little
awful.
Yeah, that was going awful. So the premise is that Lois goes to Southside Metropolis, Little Africa, which is supposed to be like a Harlem type thing. I've personally never been to a Little Africa of any city.
No.
But let's move on past that. And the residents don't want to talk to her because she's a white woman. So Superman gets this bright idea that he has a machine that basically turns her into a black woman.
Naturally. I have one in my closet right over there.
Oh, great. So she turns into a black woman because reasons. And, she can't hail a cab. and Superman doesn't want to marry her no more because she's black or something to that effect. She asks him, "Would you still marry me?" He like laughs at her. And then after spending like an afternoon, she's like, "Yeah, people have it hard." And then Superman goes on his monologue of, "I know what it's like because I'm an alien. Even though everyone thinks I'm a white man and I operate."
You just have no idea how hard it is, Odell, being a white man in this world. Like, people just give you anything you ask. I have to beg to be arrested. It's so hard.
And then so here's the thing about the real racism. This story was told by a white person imagining what it's like to be a black person for an afternoon. And the sad thing, even if this was possible, you couldn't understand the full extent from one afternoon because you have the mentality that I can go back. But even more so, this is a fictitious story in a fictitious universe of fictitious situations of someone thinking. So you see how this goes in four fronts. But me personally, I can't speak for everyone. Just is being black and having like, a black palette necessarily racist? The short answer is yes. But I honestly think it's not that bad. Is it bad that that Zach
already just interchanging them. Yeah, you just mesh them together.
Jerry, can you finish this for me, please?
I believe where my partner here is going is it bad that Zach is the black Power Ranger? Is it bad that the Asian Power Ranger is yellow?
Her name is Trini. We know it.
Is it bad that the white woman Power Ranger is pink?
Ooh.
Yeah, these are all probably
bad.
Is
that bad or is that just funny?
Well, okay, right.
Wait, that's probably sexist. That was sexist.
Especially since pink wasn't a feminine color until Hitler changed it in World War II.
Alright, fun fact, everyone. History lesson. The royal color of women was originally blue, and the royal color of men was originally pink. That's why Mary is garbed in blue in all her statues and portraits, and that's why Jesus as a baby is garbed in pink.
Wait, that means the man sitting next to Jesus at the Last Supper wasn't a man at all, but a woman. And he has descendants on Earth right now. Angels and demon. Dan Brown was right.
Da Vinci Code reference, everybody. It was, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, you're correct.
So yeah, was that, racism in Power Rangers? Well, probably so, considering how Zach, danced as he fought and like hip hop music played when he entered the screen. But that was kind of cool.
I was gonna say,
but is it cool for the wrong reasons? Now I'm conflicted.
Okay, as a child, I admittedly wasn't thinking, oh man, black and black. I just thought, okay, when I was a kid, I always thought black everything was cool. I don't know why. I just, it's like, oh man, you like the jet black Game Boy. They didn't have a jet black Game Boy, but I wanted one, but they never made one. I don't know. I just thought it was cool. It was sleek. It was modern. This was my thinking, my personal thinking as a child. So cool black Power Ranger who could do martial arts, kick butt. I thought it was cool. I wasn't thinking implicitly racist tones.
Gotcha. And what Jared says is true. These things don't necessarily scream racism, but as a general rule of thumb, if you're telling a story about a woman and the struggle of a woman and it's written by a man, it kind of undermines the thing. So if you're writing about the struggles of people of color, regardless of where they may be or what their struggle is, and it's not your struggle, then yeah, you're undermining the situation because ultimately you don't know. Now, with that said, does that mean you should not watch this media and form an opinion? You should, because as always, you can't argue anything unless you haven't seen it. And it's Cloak and Dagger sense, should you not watch it because of this? I say no.
I'm going to give it a watch.
Yeah, give it a watch. And thus, after watching it, if it, goes into like some horrible tropes and stereotypes, then we can talk about that. But just basically basing off the characters, because inherently all comic book characters are racist or have racist roots or made by racists.
Yeah.
And we can't change that, but we can make things better. We can have people tell their own stories. Like, we can have a woman writing the Wonder Woman comics and talking about modern women. We could have, just, for example, the Black Panther writer being a black man who's maybe from Africa and experience these things and can talk about them, so on and so forth. For the Hispanic superheroes, Native American superheroes. And yes, people like to think that's maybe pandering and that we're trying to, culturally appropriate things. But let's be honest, if somebody is writing a white superhero from a not white perspective, either A, they may intentionally do things to slander this person for their own personal reasons, or B, guess what, the obvious misrepresent them.
Exactly. My best example here, I think, for people still aren't familiar with what cultural appropriation is and what kind of damage you're talking about that they could be doing with it, is A Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack Skellington finds Christmas. He loves it. He thinks it's amazing. Hey, I've got a great idea. Let's get rid of Santa Claus and we'll take care of Christmas this year. And so he, in all of Halloween Town, tries to do Christmas. Oh, instead of giving presents of toys, let's give presents of severed heads. And Christmas runs amok. They completely screw up what we all know Christmas is supposed to be.
And he had good intentions.
He loved it. It was something he appreciated.
He thought it was cool.
But
see where we're going here, people?
Mm-hmm.
Drawing the parallels.
You know what we're talking about.
You know.
And you know what we're talking about. Things that are cool. Let's go Pikachu and let's go Eevee.
Yes. If you didn't know, we got an announcement recently of 2 new Pokemon games for the Switch. The first 2 Pokemon games for the Switch, actually, they will not be a core game. We're getting that later in 2019 and probably November when Pokemon games come out.
They always come out.
They always come out in November. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are coming out this year in November on the 16th, I believe.
Which, again, I think is their go-to date.
Yeah. So we have a Pikachu here, clearly. We don't have an Eevee because I'm not made of money, people.
We can only afford so many plushes.
But we are excited. If you don't know, they are spiritual remakes of the yellow version for the original Game Boy trilogy of Red, Blue, and Yellow. And thus, you can choose either a Pikachu or an Eevee to start with. The Eevee rides on your head, on your hat. Pikachu rides on your shoulder. Classic Pokemon anime style via Ash. But other than that, it's going to connect with Pokemon Go. That's going to be a big thing. That's probably going to be a great selling point for a lot of people who weren't already into Pokemon.
Oh, definitely, right. As you were telling me earlier, so many people, Pokemon Go was the very first game. So probably hoping to capture that crowd.
Yeah, so it's literally supposed to bridge the gap between the main Pokemon core games and Pokemon Go. That's why it features a lot of features from Pokemon Go, like using motion controls to catch Pokemon with, and have them appear in the overworld.
Mm-hmm.
But it will have real battling mechanics from the core games, as in it's RPG style turn-based.
No more tapping for all you people. Tapping and dodging is not a game mechanic.
So I recommend if you play Pokemon Go, but none of the core Pokemon games, this is going to be your game to ease you into what it's like to play a real, quote-unquote, core, let's just say core, Pokemon game. And which one are you excited about getting, Jared?
So I'm excited about getting Pokemon Let's Go Eevee because, right, as we all know, there will be a never-before-seen Pokemon in this game. And we know they're all Gen 1 Pokemon. So I'm thinking Alolan form, and I'm thinking Alolan!
Full circle.
Woo!
To those who stayed with us in the pilot episode from episode 1, thank you for sticking with us, by the way. You have known that one of our topics was an Alolan, which Jared thought should exist. So
it should.
I mean, this might be it.
Be great. I suppose, so which one, before we move on, which game will you be getting?
I really wanted Let's Go Eevee because, oh god, it's the cutest thing ever. Eevee sits on your hat and it's an Eevee and it looks amazing. But yellow version was actually my first Pokemon game. Yes, people, yellow version back in 1990.
Not the ported one, the one with a little cartridge.
Yes, this came out in 1998, I believe.
I'll believe you.
It was 1996 or 1998 because I don't know if I'm confusing the Japanese release with the American release.
It would probably have to be 98 because my brother was old enough to play games.
Okay, so yes, people, the real Pokemon games came out. They're that old. And
last year, this year's the 20th anniversary?
No, it was the 25th? No, the 20th anniversary happened like 2-3 years ago.
Oh, that's right. We're currently just in a time of giving away a lot of legendary Pokemon.
Yes.
But
yeah, so since yellow version was my first game and I started with a Pikachu, obviously, I will be continuing that tradition in the spiritual sequel, Let's Go Pikachu, and get Pikachu.
That makes sense. So, back to that mysterious Pokemon. I'm thinking it's either a Lolion, and you can thank me, I'm right, or it's Thundercat Lucario.
Yes, Zora. That's the thing
Zora
about
Aurora.
Pokemon names are really hard to pronounce before they come out because without the anime or some type of pronunciation system, it's just a whole bunch of letters that shouldn't go next to each other.
Well, particularly as they try and make them sound like something that they're not.
Yeah. So it could be that, but that would go against, they've already said it'll only be Gen 1 Pokemon, so to see a Gen 7 Pokemon would be kind of like, eh. But it could also be very realistically what people are expecting to be a Gen 8 Pokemon. You know, it would just be a teaser to what's coming in late 2019. Let's just call it November 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we'll all be excited. It could be like one of the starters or something, and we'll all go...
Oh, it's not gonna be the starter, because there are 3 of them.
I mean, it could be one. You know, it will be the... Because, you know, each generation has their mascot Pokemon.
It's true, yeah.
We had Pikachu, and then I guess we would call Togepi for...
Gen 2.
Gen 2. Gen 3 had... Lucario was Gen 4.
Definitely.
That he was the big mascot Pokemon. Gen 3 had... I almost want to say Garchomp. But no.
No.
The point is, each generation has a mascot Pokemon associated with that generation that was whatever Pokemon they put in Smash Brothers, really.
Yeah, that's there you go. That would be it. So coming to the Switch is this mysterious new 8th Pokemon, both in Smash and in Pokemon.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Right? But what I really want to know is, okay, we know it's going to come, and we know you have to play Pokemon Go to get this Pokemon, but what exactly do we think the qualification is? I fear it's going to be a Wii U Pokemon Rancher thing, where it's like, I mean, that's already a theme of Pokemon Go. Hey, you know, mill up like 1,000 Pokemon for the candy, and you get a Pokemon.
That makes sense. You can only transfer Gen 1 Pokemon from Pokemon Go into Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, so no Gen 2, 3, 4, and beyond. And so that's probably going to be the prerequisite. And we were talking about this earlier. You're like, why would people want to do that? And like we stated, this is some people's, honestly to God, first Pokemon game, or first Pokemon game that they've actually gotten into. Meaning that, you know, they skipped red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, diamond, pearl, black, white, X, Y, etc.
Fire red, leaf green, heart gold, soul silver, crystal.
Oh man, there's been a lot. And so for it to go, like, you're on your phone, you see your Dratini, and you're like, oh, I love this Dratini, and so amazing, and maybe it's a Dragonite now, and you actually caught it day 1 of the game, and, you know, you've bonded with it. So to transfer that into what's more like a core Pokemon game, and to see it fully 3D animated and actually battle with it, not like tap your screen, but like a legit Pokemon battle style, you know, it may be emotional for some people.
That's a very fair point. That's a very valid point. I still have my Pokemon. I have my Sceptile. I've transferred all the way from Sapphire all the way up to Ultra Moon. Like, he's not the best battler. His stats are trash, but that's okay. I love him, and I've transferred him, and I've super trained him, and I've given him all the gold bottle caps. So
that's love, people.
It's love.
And I've had Pokemon I've literally spent hundreds of hours breeding, getting the right movesets for, and everything. And when I send them out to battle, or even when I'm just playing the game, there's a little part of me that's just like, man, you're really, you know,
that's your baby out there.
Yeah, it's like it's no joking, like a puppy you raised from like day 1, and now you see them as a full grown.
I was just gonna say, and we've legitimately bred and raised our children. We didn't just hack them and port them into the game.
Oh yeah, shame on people who hack teams. Who has a full team of 6 fully trained Pokemon that are shinies? Nobody. And literally nobody. The odds are like astronomical.
And shinies are just so pointless because they don't have anything boost-wise, stat-wise that are better, and their animation introduction is like 3 times as long. Go Gyarados! Fling, fling, shring, ding, fling, pop.
And no one's impressed by your shiny. It's not like it, like you said, it doesn't have better stats. They don't have secret moves.
Nope.
Some of them are just horrendous looking.
Right? They only come in 3 styles. They come in the cool kind, which would be like what, Black Garchomp.
Oh yeah, but Black Greninja.
Black Greninja, cool. Back to full
Oh,
circle. The ones that look absolutely the same, shiny Pichu, like you can't tell it at all.
Shiny Jigglypuff.
Shiny Jigglypuff, which was the one in the anime because it had green eyes.
Ho ho.
Ooh. And then the green ones. Pokemon, I will never forgive you for making Espeon lime green.
Yeah, it's always the same shade of ugly green.
It's that exact neon barf lime shiny green. Ugh.
We don't like it.
We don't like it. Nobody likes it.
But what do you like, Jared?
What do I like for shiny?
Oh, just in general.
For colors?
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of depends on what the Pokemon is and what the theme of the Pokemon would be.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, continue.
Oh no, I was gonna say I like the ones that are like just cool color combinations. Like if you're gonna make it a shiny, don't just give me a solid color. Give me like a color palette.
Right? Like too often it feels like they're just kind of lazy and just throw on a paint bucket to a Pokemon. Like pink Ampharos. Like why is it just pink? Like it just even its white belly becomes like light pink. I'm like you could keep the belly white. That'd be fine.
Would be.
It'd be so much cooler too.
Also so much cool.
But that's what we think of Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. So, however, since we talked a lot of things that involved in Pokemon there, is your favorite tropes involving, it doesn't have to be Pokemon specifically, but kind of favorite tropes in like movies and TVs?
Oh, I got this.
This.
My favorite trope is mainly in anime, but it appears in other things, but definitely mainly anime, is the super powerful leader old elder character. So if you watch Bleach, Captain Yamato, he is the leader of all the goatee, and he never fights, and when he does, he completely overpowers it. Chairman Nidoro from Hunter x Hunter, which we talked about before.
Yoda,
exactly. And I'm torn because like it's kind of they live up to the hype because when things go down, especially if you watch Yoda in the Clone Wars, there was like an invading battalion. I'm talking about warships, multiple dozens landing on a planet that they were defending, and he like used the Force, and I kid you not, took out half the fleet before they touched the ground, just using the Force to crash ships into each other, blow them up essentially the second they land and things like that. And then in Bleach, Captain Yamato, I believe is his name. I might pronounce that incorrect. Yamamoto. There you go. He's so powerful that he doesn't fight because he would hurt friend and foe alike.
Everything just burns up in his path indiscriminately. Right? I mean, that's literally his Shinigami, not Shinigami, that's what they are. His Zanpakuto release, everything burns to ash.
And everything quite literally does. And so when these characters fight, they usually have something like, and that's kind of it, no matter who the person is.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if it's like the main bad guy, like, he usually has to do something ridiculous, like, Aizen, to basically render them not able to fight. There's things like, it's essentially like, the Superman syndrome, where it's like, oh, well, Superman's dead. Well, no, that's horrible. I hate Superman. That's stupid. They have
Optimus Prime syndrome. Oh,
yes.
No, Optimus Prime is dead.
So at least they're there. They're present. And, in case, it's always funny, like, everyone else will be dead or half dead, or a couple people half died, and there's like, oh, well, since everyone's hurt, they're not in the way, and there's like, yeah, that's my favorite trope.
That's your favorite trope.
Because they live up to the hype.
No, I mean, they do. It borders, though, my least favorite trope of kind of what we were saying, like, oh no, if only
so-and-so was here.
Which is just sloppy writing or poor writing.
80% of the Justice League movie.
That was so, yeah, it just, they're all doing their... Superman is like doing double duty on this, right? He comes in, he like flicks Steppenwolf in the face, goes save some people, comes back, flicks him back down in the face. While Wonder Woman and Aquaman are fighting their fullest against Steppenwolf, Flash is saving people, Cyborg's like ripping the mother's cubes apart. Bruce Wayne is checking his stock portfolio or something. I don't know. He was really useless in this battle.
I mean, he's only human.
No. That great transition. He's not only human, because my favorite trope are ideas, themes, and characters that transcend reality.
Explain.
Explain. The best example of this is during DC's Flashpoint Paradox, where in that fateful alley night where the Waynes decide to leave the opera and go down a crime-ridden alley for some reason, Bruce Wayne is not murdered, or Bruce Wayne is murdered instead of his parents. And so his father is so stricken with anger and he wants justice and vengeance for his son, he takes up the dark cowl and becomes Batman.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. While his mother is stricken with grief and driven to insanity and becomes the Joker.
So, no matter what parallel universes exist, there will always be a Batman.
Yes.
And there will always be a Joker.
There will always be a lighthouse. There will always be a city. There will always be a man.
BioShock
Infinite.
For those who don't know, BioShock is a video game series. You should really check it out. It deals with this, Jared's favorite trope, very well. Like, probably the best I've ever seen it. Go play the games.
It's so great. And, if you're a BioShock fan and you never wanted to play BioShock Infinite, you should, because the DLC for it gives really good backstory for BioShocks 1 and 2. Ooh.
And it pretty much wraps that up nicely. It comes
full circle. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, it was good.
Say, the other good example of this I like is in Adventure Time. Again, maybe just if you haven't seen BioShock or you don't watch Batman, maybe you're an Adventure Time fan, right? In every iteration, somehow, there's always a boy, there's always a dog. The boy always ends up losing his arm. And
there's always the crown that inevitably, whoever puts it on becomes the Ice King. And even Simon Petrikov didn't put it on. They're like in the one iteration. Finn put it on temporarily, and thus the Ice King stops. The world gets destroyed, but he saves it, enough for life to go on.
Right.
And if someone doesn't inherit the crown, the Lich will be revived and kill the world. So these events, regardless of what parallel dimensions or what things they changed in the past, continually happen, but maybe not with the characters we know it happened with.
Right. So it's not destiny, it's not fate, because no one's bound to do these things. Like anybody, it can happen to anybody, but these events will happen.
They always happen across the cosmos and time. That is actually a really good trope.
Right? I love it. So that is my favorite trope. And Odell's favorite trope is the how should we classify this?
The elderly leader. That's
the elderly leader, the ace in the hole.
Ace in the. I would just say the grand elder master.
The grand elder. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Yoda is a grand elder master. The captain from Bleach is old and a grand master.
Mm-hmm. And while
Chairman Netero is super old.
It's true.
And they hold the highest title in the land, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay. Rarely fight, and when they do, overwhelmingly powerful. And if they lose, did they really lose, or is it it's usually politics or some other cockamamie reason where they couldn't just
right, like how the NGL didn't allow Chairman Netero in for a really long time.
Yes,
but you need to read and watch Hunter x Hunter. We'll keep talking about this.
Oh, we will. We're probably going to be visiting that for a long time to come.
Oh yes,
until it inevitably never finishes. And anyway, I'm not getting into that right now.
Nope. That's next episode. Probably not, but so I will be getting Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Odell will be getting
Let's Go Pikachu.
Woo! And comic books. Are they racist? Probably.
Always.
But thanks for joining us for another episode of Full Circle. I'm Jared Fradette. Remember to follow me at Toon Velo.
And I'm Odell Harmon. Remember to follow me at Odell Harmon Jr. And we don't say this enough, but follow Full Circle. We have a Twitter, and we don't have Facebook. We have a Twitter and an Instagram. Mm-hmm. At least we should have Instagram. I don't know, but follow us there. It'll be there, and you can follow us there at FC Podcast 23. Don't forget the 23 on Twitter and other things for more information and behind the scenes stuff. Exactly. So as always, thank you for joining us. Until next time, folks.